Welcome to Abilene, Texas, and welcome to ESPN College Basketball on this Saturday evening. It's a non-conference tune-up for the Abilene Christian Wildcats as they host the Dallas Christian Crusaders. Good evening, everybody. Welcome courtside to Moody Coliseum. Zach Carlisle alongside Owen Simpson. Well, Abilene Christian coming off of a big win Thursday night against Southeast Missouri, a game that they needed. Now they can build a little momentum as they're getting closer to conference play.
And you mentioned that conference play. It's always good to go in with the right mindset and the momentum. And that starts here tonight to continue and build on a winning streak.
Well, as we take a look at that big win from Thursday night, it was a big one for Abilene Christian as they take on Southeast Missouri. It was a 73-64 victory for ACU, a game that they needed to have, and they came out with the victory.
And Joe Pleasant was a big key in that victory. 18 points leading the team, 7 for 9 shooting. Head coach for ACU, however, mentioned that 5 turnovers. That was a big mistake from him. He wants him to protect the ball in this one.
Well, we are off and running. Glad to have you with us tonight for ESPN College Basketball. ACU starts with it against this Dallas Christian team that comes in just 1-8 on the young season. Corian Mason gets the game started with a layup, and we are off and running tonight. And a game that ACU is going to be favored by a lot. This is a game they should win pretty easily.
And you mentioned Dallas Christian struggled so far from the NCCAA, the National Christian College Athletic Association. 1-7 so far on the season. They have struggled big time defensively, averaging over 110 points given up a game.
Damian Daniels had that transition layup for ACU. The challenge for the Crusaders tonight, just 7. They only brought 7 players with them, so just 2 that they will have off their bench at all times. The starters for the Crusaders, John Neighbors, De'Aaron Davis, Moses Compton, Maxwell Walter, and Donovan Booker. And with Donovan Booker trapped there, they call a timeout, and so 55 ticks into the game, the Crusaders are forced to call a timeout. So, you know, you talk about this Abilene Christian team, that was it's hard to stress how big of a win it was for them. Thursday night, it was their first Division I victory of the season.
And they were on a 2-game losing streak. They hadn't been back in Moody in their home court for quite some time, so it was a big confidence booster. It's their first game so far of the season that they've won that was a 10-point contest or fewer. They were 0-3 before that matchup.
Yeah, it was an interesting game where Southeast Missouri would get it close, and then Abilene Christian would pull right back away in that second half. So a fun game to watch for sure. And off the window, De'Aaron Davis, no good. Davis averaging almost 20 points per game this year. Off to a good start offensively. These games have been crazy high scoring for Dallas Christian on the young season. They're scoring 75 per, and they're giving up 106. Joe Pleasant, the sophomore out of Kansas, and he goes off the glass, and Abilene Christian's off to the start that they expected to be. It's up 6-0.
And there's no reason Pleasant shouldn't score every time he touches the ball on offense tonight. He is by far one of the biggest players on this court.
Here's Davis once again, and there's the first bucket for the Crusaders tonight. De'Aaron Davis, the junior out of Louisiana.
And that's one of the surprising things that I've seen so far about Dallas Christian. Despite struggling defensively, they're able to put some serious points up, averaging 75 a game. They run a fast offense, and they've done a great job. They're very efficient so far this season.
Corian Mason, who already has a basket in the game, draws a foul. Moses Compton, the freshman out of Houston. So this figures to be a game where we might see all 14 Wildcats in the lineup at some point. And that'll be the challenge. How do you deal with Colton Cole, who's 7 feet tall? Peyton Ricks, long 3. And there he goes again. There's Cole with a no board. Zone defense, and that might be the only chance Dallas Christian, when you only have 7, it's hard to play man-to-man for 40 minutes. Cole, yep, and 1. The San Angelo, Texas native. The height difference is just insurmountable for Dallas Christian.
And he made up for that missed layup earlier, grabbing an offensive rebound and then taking it in despite the zone. Almost 3 defenders on him at one point there. Big shot for the N1.
Here's Jordan Varner, who checks in for DCC, Dallas Christian College. Varner, a sophomore, is off to a good start this season, and he gets the rebound off the miss. John Neighbors running point. A sophomore. This is a team without a senior on its roster. 14 on the roster, only 7 made the trip tonight. Tapped out of bounds by Daniels. And right away, subs for Abilene Christian in the form of Trey Lennox and Arion Simmons. Varner, pass wide, and a turnover on the offensive set for the Crusaders.
That's a great job there by Peyton Riggs. After realizing Daniels missing the opportunity to steal there, he gets in the right position and forces the turnover.
Joe Pleasant, he's in the best stretch of his career, his young career, just a sophomore for ACU. 38 points over the last 2 games coming into tonight.
And he really has a big future here at Abilene Christian as a Wildcat. He's really put in a lot of work in the offseason after his first year, and it's shown so far this season.
Varner couldn't get the friendly roll. Trey Lennox transition 3. And that's popped out of bounds, and it will go to Dallas Christian. So it's 10-2 start for ACU, 3.5 minutes in. This could be one of those games that when you start scoring the basketball like ACU might in this game, that might springboard them because their offense has struggled so far this year.
It really has, and what they've done so far is just feeding inside the paint with Colton Cole as a 7-footer, outsizing every Crusader on this roster. And then you also got Joe Pleasant as well. There's no reason you shouldn't feed it inside early in this game.
Arion Simmons, a freshman out of Arkansas, tapped around. Devon Booker and company. Here's Vincent Escamilla, the sophomore out of Corpus Christi, Texas. And the ball's out of bounds once more for another Dallas Christian turnover. Their 4th of the young minutes of the game, 4 minutes in. As expected, subs already for ACU. No reason to not have a bunch of fresh legs throughout the course of the entire night. They stacked 3 players on one side to start the offensive set. Really an overload on one side of the floor, and Joe Pleasant will shoot free throws on the other side. ACU off to a 10-2 start.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are Southland Strong!
Abilene Christian, 5 of their first 9 from the floor, and a 10-2 lead, with Joe Pleasant shooting free throws for the Wildcats. Sophomore out of Overland Park, Kansas. New rule in college hoops this year. Well, actually, it may just be on the women's side, and I don't know if it's on the men's side or not, but you cannot sub in just after the first free throw. You gotta wait till both free throws are done. Now, in this case, in a men's game, it might still be the same rule, but I know on the women's side, you cannot sub, if it's for the shooter or not, it has to be after both free throws are attempted, which I thought that was kind of an interesting new rule across women's college basketball. The men's side, not that way. Maybe it is, but I don't know for 100%, to be honest. De'Aaron Davis with an and one for Dallas Christian.
A good shot there. Dallas Christian struggling offensively early. Good confidence booster there. Now 2 for 4 shooting.
Hayden Howell tried to take the charge. We saw a million of those Thursday night. We thought there was a ton of charge calls during that doubleheader. That was a really fun doubleheader of basketball here at Moody Coliseum Thursday night. See Abilene Christian attack this zone, and you'd figure you get some of your three-point shooters to open up against the zone D. Howell, tough shot. I talked to Hayden Howell today, and he said he came in after the game ended Thursday night against Southeast Missouri, and he came in and was in here for an hour shooting hoops and trying to make shots. Reggie Miller layup in transition.
And that's the mentality you want with any player after a game. If they were hot or if they weren't on the court, it's always good to see that extra effort. And that doesn't just simply show as a player that he is, but it also shows to the coach how much effort he's putting in.
No question. Trey Lennox bumps Davis at the top. That is the second team foul of the half on Abilene Christian. Moses Compton back into the lineup for the Crusaders. And in comes Clay Gaiman, number 42 for Abilene Christian. Tough shot from Escamilla, couldn't get it. Gaiman goes into Howell, who lays it in. That's one guy they are hoping he can get going, coming off of a season-long injury a year ago.
And a good pass from up top from Clay Gaiman there to get his first assist tonight.
We've talked about it in previous telecasts, but it could not have been easy to sit and not be able to play a year ago when your team makes a run and goes to its first ever NCAA tournament at the Division I level. Travel on Clay Gaiman.
Yeah, and especially, as you mentioned, just sitting and waiting for that opportunity to come in. There he has the pass inside, especially with the circumstances going in for Abilene Christian's first trip to the NCAA tournament. It's always tough, but it also fuels that motivation to go back and do it again next year. So I'm sure he's more than excited for this season.
The illegal screen on the handoff from Escamilla made some contact. So trying to give it to Compton. So an offensive foul. Reggie Miller running point for ACU. Howell baseline. And the pass goes towards the ACU radio broadcasters. And a turnover on Dallas Christian, already their 7th of the game.
And they may already be down double digits, but I really like the effort I'm seeing from Dallas Christian College. They're daring ACU to shoot outside. They're protecting the paint very well so far. Obviously a lot of shots inside, as we see there. They've done a pretty good job so far at being outsized and outmatched at every position.
Makai Morris, the junior out of Philly. Transfer for Abilene Christian from Kojai Junior College. Here's Compton for 3. That's a nice looking shot. And a triple for Dallas Christian. Their first attempt from the outside goes down. Gaiman mid-range got that to go. This could very easily turn into just both teams launching three-pointers. It hasn't been that way so far, and I think that's what the coaching staffs want to see, is them work on stuff and not just launch a bunch of threes.
Yeah, I had a big block there from Cole. Cole.
My goodness.
My goodness, as you said, the big man taking over inside. And then you talk about, we'll take a look at this one more time before we get to that, but great defensive effort there, great awareness to see where the pass was coming from, and just denied inside the paint. And you talk about both these teams just wanting to run their offenses, and I think that's exactly what this game is all about. It's not going to be about, because we know who's going to win this game, and it's already showing off early. 20-8, Abilene Christian. It's going to continue to build that lead, but they want to see them run some good offensive plays, as we see they're taking it inside the basket, not just shooting the three-pointer from outside the perimeter every possession.
Clay Gaiman, the sophomore out of Missouri. Mason fronts that short corner post up from Davis, and the pass too high. A 22-8 start and 10 of 16 from the floor is ACU. They're 0 of 2 from the three-point line. This could be a game where they also don't need to make a three to dominate as they go inside to the big fella. And that might be all they have to do in a game like this as well.
That's just an unfair advantage inside. And why wouldn't you want to pass it inside every time when you have a 7-footer like that? The tallest member on the roster for the Crusaders, 6'6".
If he works hard to get open, you've got to reward him by getting him the basketball. Morris into Cole. Look at him work hard again. Good luck stopping number 34 in white tonight. He is off to a really good start. Colton Cole, 6 straight points for ACU. It is an 8-0 run for Abilene Christian and a 14-3 run over the last 3.5 minutes for the Wildcats on their home floor. 26-8, all Wildcats as we expected so far. Davis inside. Well, he's worked hard. He's going to have some challenges on that end of the floor, but he's fouled by Joe Pleasant. So free throws coming for De'Aaron Davis, the junior out of Louisiana, as we mentioned, averaging 21.5 points on the year.
And Davis only played 4 games so far in this young season of 9 games for the Crusaders. He's leading that team heavily, 21 points a game so far.
And they've played a ton of exhibition games, which this one technically counts as one for Dallas Christian as well. When you play in the NCCAA, you're just looking to get a bunch of games against NCAA schools, even though those don't technically count against your win-loss record. As Davis hits the free throw. Here's Pleasant. Daniels corner 3. How about the air that Mason got for the rebound? And Mekhi Morris hits the three. Wow.
He's just up there for a couple seconds. That's all, Zach.
I mean, that was like hang time on a punt.
Great rebound.
Goodness. Tough left-handed shot goes down for Jordan Varner.
That's got to feel good after starting 0 for 3 and get his first points in this one.
Davis leads Dallas Christian with 6, with Varner on the board. Howell for 3, online, off mark, and Joe Pleasant fouled on the rebound. There's the 3 from Morris. This 29-11 game. No one has been able to stop Joe Pleasant. No matter who they've been playing. I mean, you go from a game against SMU, there's Howell in the paint. Or Semo, the Dallas. I mean, he's been a handful for everyone so far this year.
He really has. He's put a lot of work in the offseason, coming into his sophomore season. A lot of growth, a lot of potential from Pleasant.
Charge on Jordan Varner. There's Joe Golding, 9th-year head coach of Abilene Christian, the ACU alum. He's got 117 wins in his time. They won 27 times a year ago, and that was a school record at the Division I level.
And this season, Golding is just really focused on his defense, especially in the defense producing offense. He talked after the win against Semo Thursday. He wants points off of turnovers and fast break scores. He wants his defense to produce its own offense, and that was big in the win on Thursday.
Damian Daniels, he's been open for a couple of threes. He's taken 1, but he's only 1 of 17 on the year at the three-point line. So there might be a little bit of hesitation for him right now to pull the trigger from distance. Halfway home in this first half. 29-11 game. Here's Davis once again. Daniels trying to take a charge, and it turns into a turnover. Ricks feels like the first time he's been open, and he misses a 3. Peyton Ricks is 0 for 2 from the floor, has not scored so far tonight. Ricks had 29 in game 2 of the year at Drexel. But I think it's safe to say, I don't know that he's really gotten it going so far on the year. The guy that they probably are going to need more than anybody this year.
And he's really in a role that he's not familiar with. He tends to be a role player in his first 3 years at Abilene Christian. Now he's one of the very few remaining players from last season's conference tournament run. So far he's leading the team in points, but he's only shooting about 35% this season.
It's a travel on Howell prior to the basket, or the ball going up in the air. Colton Cole checks back in. This is Dallas Christian head coach Dalton Miller, first year in a Metroplex. He was an assistant coach at Manhattan Christian College. Comes to Dallas Christian this year, gets their only win of the year so far, is against Manhattan Christian College. So that had to have felt pretty good for Coach Miller. For the Crusaders, there's a jump ball, and the arrow stays with Dallas Christian.
And similar to head coach Joe Golding, what Miller wants to do for his team, again, is just to run his offense and just figure out some kinks. It's an exhibition game. It has no impact on your season.
Right.
This is good exposure for the college. It's good experience for these young players as well.
Davis inside. He's got good bounce. He really handles the basketball really well. And he taps it away there on a pass, and now it's loose again. Look who's on the floor, Tobias Cameron, the Australian, flying all over. Now it's Colton Cole. Misses with the left, misses with the right, but a foul. But he's going to shoot free throws on the other side. ACU with a 16-point lead here at home. It's a little bit of a scoring drought for Abilene Christian. They've missed each of their last 5 shots, and most of them have been inside here. They lead by 16, but they might want to clean that up a little bit.
Yeah, they're putting in an unfamiliar rotation, something we haven't typically seen from this team this season. So obviously working out the kinks, and then a lot of missed layups. They got to fix that before halftime.
First free throw good from Colton Cole. I've mentioned this a couple of times this year, but I'm incredibly impressed with the free throw shooting ability of Colton Cole. I don't, maybe it's just because I'm surprised that 7-footers can shoot free throws, but he's in the high 80s this year.
He hasn't had a whole lot of time at the free throw line as many other 7-footers, as much as they get fouled, but he's taking the opportunity when he's there.
That pass thrown to the ACU bench by Jordan Varner. Maybe Shaquille O'Neal was just, maybe he set me wrong in that direction because big fellas, maybe that's why I don't think big fellas can make free throws, was because of Shaq. Colton Cole wears the same number, 34. Here's Ricks. Is that his first of the game, and he gets it to go. He's 1 for 3 now from distance.
If you're head coach Joe Golding, you want to see that guy with the ball, and you want to see him nailing those shots that he just did. He struggled from the three-point line, and just shooting in general this season needs to get those numbers up.
35% shooter from the three-point line, a number lower than what he would like. Tobias Cameron to Daniels to Ricks. Ball movement and the 3. Well, that was perfection in transition. Davis trapped. And standing out of bounds was Moses Compton. Let's go back to the Ricks 3.
And right on cue, as we mentioned, getting him the ball. Great pass from Daniels back to the top of the key and nails it. If you're Abilene Christian, you want to see this guy shooting the ball as much as he can. He was one of the most talented shooters from a season ago. He needs to get back on track, and he does it there.
Paul Hippler on the floor for ACU. They go to Colton Cole once again. ACU's highest point total and a half this year, 47. You'd like to think this would be a game that they could get a little higher in that regard. That is a travel on Dallas Christian. Goes against Davis.
That's their 5th turnover in the past 5 minutes. Wildcats defense starting to lock down.
13th for the game. 10-0 run for Abilene Christian. Paul Hippler, Hollywood Hippler, right?
That's his nickname back in high school in California. He's put on a showing in the times he's been on the court so far this season.
Misses offline that time. It's another guy that we talked to, and Paul said, hey, I came in to get my shots up too after the game on Thursday night. When your minutes are spare, are scarce throughout the season, it's hard to stay in a rhythm. But he'll get a really nice handful of minutes in tonight's game to get up a few shots and get into some rhythm on offense.
And you want to take advantage of those minutes as much as you can, especially for someone on the bench as much as he's been so far in his time at Abilene Christian. It's one thing to do well in practice, it's another to do it on the court in a game.
Golden Cole again running the floor. As expected, he's already into double figures, 10 points, 3 boards so far tonight. Rise and fire, and missing everything was Jordan Varner that time. Miller open. Offline at the top. Reggie Miller, the junior out of Houston. Transfer from Seward Community College. Region champ a year ago. First year Wildcat. He is a nice addition to this group, kind of the backup point guard to Damian Daniels on this roster.
And why not be an athlete when your name is Reggie Miller as well?
One of the great basketball names you could have. It's pretty good on TV too. Ball thrown out of bounds. Another turnover, 13 of them in the half for Dallas Christian. There's Miller. Season high 7 points for ACU this year. He's got 2 tonight. Clay Gaiman posting up. He'll take the mid-range, and that's way long for the sophomore. Jordan Varner going to run the point at 6'6". Why not? That's a bad pass. Tapped away, and here's Lennox. Chance to run. Howell, that got ugly quickly. Loose ball again. Howell. Tough shot, finishes this time. That was an awkward, what looked to be transition. It didn't turn into transition for ACU.
Yeah, and it started sloppy, but it ended well. They took their time. A good take inside.
The lead is 30 for Abilene Christian. Missing and wanting a foul call, not getting it is Maxwell Walter. Miller, no. Gaiman throws it off the feet, and this ball is out of bounds to Dallas Christian. They'll have it when we come back. There's ACU cheerleaders having some fun tonight. This Saturday night at the beginning of December. Boy, what a busy day in sports, and a big day in sports, especially around college football. I think that top four is getting clearer. I really do.
I really do think so, especially obviously LSU clinching that spot tonight, and then Oklahoma making some noise as well.
I got to imagine the Sooners are in, aren't they? I mean, they got to move up to 4. There's a foul on Trey Lennox of Abilene Christian. Because when number 4 loses, I mean, Georgia was done. And with Oklahoma and Baylor, you figure with Utah out too now, I mean, to me it'll be pretty clear. We'll find out tomorrow on ESPN. Loose ball. Who's it off of? It's off of Dallas Christian. A lot of turnovers, as expected. I mean, this is a very good ACU defense, and now taking on an opponent that is so undermatched in Dallas Christian. Figured there'd be a lot of turnovers. There's been 15 in the first half so far.
And some of it's been a lot of sloppy passes and just some miscommunication on offense. But again, the Wildcat defense has done a great job.
Oh, there's a turnover right back at you. Hayden Howell, an offensive foul, taking a charge are the Crusaders. 2.5 until halftime.
Just the take inside there.
And there's the charge.
Good set as well.
This is Davis. Boy, contested look. Strong offhand move for De'Aaron Davis.
And Davis has been the bright spot on offense for Dallas Christian. 10 points in the first half.
Textbook for Hayden Howell, keeping the basketball high, and that was almost a turnover. Coming up at halftime, we'll break down this first half. Talk about what's coming up as well. All that and more at halftime. Reggie Miller in transition. 19 points off turnovers for ACU in the first half. They've matched their season high of points in any half this year with 47. Can you believe this? The most Dallas Christian has given up in a half is 77 points. They gave up 77 in the first half to Southwestern, who ended up scoring 153 in the game.
And see, that's the thing that surprises me.
Halloween night.
That's the thing that surprises me is it was more of the same in the second half as well. Keeping up pace nearly. Again, 153 points in one game. Hard to believe.
Foul defensively on Hayden Howell. This will be free throws for Jordan Varner. Yeah, you mentioned it. They gave up 77 in that first half, and they gave up 76 in the second half. That's the high that they've given up, obviously, in either half. But they're coming off of a loss to Nebraska Christian, 71-55, a much more defensive game for this Crusader squad. They're able to hang in a little bit more, where they gave up 26 or 42 in the first half, but just 29 in the second half of that game.
That's really the only normal score we can really see on the schedule so far from Dallas Christian.
Everything else is video game. Play game and inside. Final 35 seconds of the half. Almost a 50 burger for ACU in the first 20 minutes. About a 5-second difference between the game and shot clock. Makai Morris with a steal. Final 10 seconds, and ACU can hold for one. Game and a dunk, and that's the exclamation point on the half. 54% shooting, 51-15, halftime coming up.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are
ACU TV provides a place for people to come to learn and to grow and to also be a big part of what's going on at ACU.
To work at ACU TV is probably the best experience you will get in a college setting.
Being able to do it for football games like out here is like for game days experience, it was awesome. Being able to see your shots and then being able to look back at it and saying like, wow, that was my shot, it was awesome.
It looks amazing in here, and I know Neil Santana spent so much time redesigning it, and he did an amazing job and really truly made it look like a news station would.
Getting to work with Grant, talking with the coaches regularly, this has just really given me a lot of experience moving into the real world.
The work on the floor, getting to teach people, and then also getting to be right there with the basketball players. I couldn't compare it to anything I had done before.
Watching all the clubs at Sing Song get their awards and just being so excited was such a rewarding thing to see because we were able to help contribute to that. It was just an incredible experience overall.
To see my work broadcasted nationally is so incredible.
And the pressure of filming on a live broadcast for people to see around the world is just, it's a different feeling than just a regular game filming for the screen.
It's just perfect experience for the real world. You're going to be in a control room. Somebody's going to be giving commands, telling you to switch over to this camera or to put this graphic up there. You know, you got to realize this, I wouldn't be doing this anywhere else. I think ACU provides me this blessing of an opportunity.
The ability for ACU TV to be so flexible and cover literally every section of campus is amazing.
We're here for the campus. We're here to better the community and show that ACU has a lot of great things going on.
It helps us become more of a community and cultivates support for our athletes, for our students who are succeeding and doing TEDx and Sing Song. And it's one of the biggest benefits I see as a student is just that ACU TV really does an incredible job bringing us all together as a campus.
Halftime at Moody Coliseum, all Abilene Christian at home. Well, you know, a lot of different people contribute to this ACU men's basketball team, including sophomore Tobias Cameron out of Gold Coast, Australia. Our friends at ACU TV had a chance to sit down with Tobias Cameron.
What was your journey like coming from Australia to here in Abilene?
Basketball in Australia is really fun. I got to meet a lot of people. So in Australia, we don't have AU basketball. They don't care as much about university sports, college sports in Australia. So anyone who wants to play basketball or any sport at a college level, they want to come to America. So there's this system or a company back home called AUSA, and it's a basketball program, and they bring kids like straight out of high school or like juniors, sophomores, bring them over here and play in AU tournaments and try to give them a scholarship to any school they can. So that's just what happened to me. I got really lucky.
What's the biggest difference in playing basketball in Australia versus playing basketball here in America?
When I got the scholarship here and ended up like scrimmaging with the guys, I can tell everyone wanted to play a lot more faster, then getting into practice and in games. It was this whole new, this eye-opening, so I really enjoy it.
Going back sort of towards last year, there's been a lot of changes. You guys lost your seniors, Jaden Franklin, Jaron Lewis, and Hayden Farquhar. How has the team transitioned since these guys graduated? Always changed a lot. Those guys, they were really big dudes, part of this program. As coaches and as our team has said before, they helped change this program a lot. So it was different, not seeing them in the locker room anymore. It was a lot more quiet. Got some new guys, 5 new guys, but we love them just as much as we said farewell to our seniors now. They're just as much a part of the team, and I think our team's looking really good this year. What sort of expectations have you guys set for yourself this season? We all expect ourselves to finish pretty high this year. I mean, that's the goal, so everyone's trying to look forward to that.
And after getting picked third in preseason, we didn't really take it much to heart, but we're excited. We're hyped to show the South what we've got.
Well, it connects automatically.
Oh, it said 15 on the halftime though.
No, it said 7. All Abilene Christian at halftime as we welcome you to Moody Coliseum courtside. Zach Carlisle alongside Owen Simpson. Well, 51-17, all ACU is expected. 22-4 run over the final 7 minutes of the half. They're taking care of business as we thought they would.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, that's exactly what they expected, as you mentioned. Really what's surprised me so far is how Dallas Christian, despite the struggles inside, they've stuck with their 2-3 zone inside. And they're daring Abilene Christian to shoot the ball outside, which they haven't really been able to do so far. Shooting under 30% so far. Not shooting a 3-ball, but really just taking it inside, giving it to Joe Pleasant, giving it to Colton Cole. And they've done a lot of damage offensively inside.
We've seen all 13 Wildcats on the floor so far in this first half. We expect to see a lot more of them as the half moves along. Second half's coming your way next. Glad you're with us on ESPN. Go. You guys are at home too. All right, here we go. Let's do it. Second half's off and running. Glad you're with us tonight. Zach Carlisle alongside Owen Simpson. So it is 51-15. And it's, well, 53-15. There we go. Corian Mason with the first points in the second half. Colton Cole had 12 in the first half. That led ACU. De'Aaron Davis had 10 in the first half. That led Dallas Christian. Good play in the corner to save it in by Donovan Booker. There's it off of Damian Daniels.
And for both these teams, you want to see how they're going to respond, both in very different situations. Abilene Christian with the win already in the books. You want to see, okay, what are they going to do on offense? What are they going to do defensively? And for Dallas Christian, you want to see, okay, how are they going to come out of the gate after sitting out at halftime? A little bit of a break to basically get back into focus here.
That was Joe Pleasant. It looked like he just had blood. That it has to take him off the floor there. And 3 offline from Maxwell Walter. Mason skip pass. Ricks started to heat up a little bit. Here's Mason. Ricks thought it was going to go in. He was celebrating already, and the ball is tapped around to the Crusaders. Jordan Varner kicks it out. Davis, what do we have? Mason's bent over at the waist. Foul on Damian Daniels for ACU. More importantly, you don't need anybody getting banged up in this game. Davis. Wrong angle, and now a block by Simmons. Looked like he got a piece of that, and it's tapped out to ACU.
And a continued defensive presence that we saw in the first half resonated here in the second half with the Wildcats.
Yeah, you wonder if that, I mean, I imagine it's hard to keep your focus when you are leading by 40, well, in this case, 38 points. I mean, that cannot be easy. And that one rims home. And the lead is 40 as Corian Mason scored all 4 for ACU here in the second half. But it has to be easy when these are 19 to 22-year-olds. You're going to lose your focus when you're up 40 points in the second half.
And that's what you want to see as a coach, is how are they going to respond to those challenges that they face here on a court, something you typically don't see in most games.
Jordan Varner, if you follow him, you know he's left-handed. If you don't, that might come as a surprise when he takes that mid-range jump shot. Defensive foul on Dallas Christian here.
And just taking a look at it one more time, Mason has come out and responded in the way that his coaches has wanted to see him, taking it in, driving it in. He's done a great job so far here in the second half.
Also left-handed. Arion Simmons finishes at the hole here with his layup, and he's got his first points of the game. the freshman for ACU out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Little give and go action. Just a tough angle for Vincent Escamilla. Daniels, oh, he's only 5'7", and somehow he got it to his big fella, Colton Cole. His speed, man, he can just split defenders and then boom, he takes off. There he goes.
And a beautiful pass there from Daniels that set up the 2 shots. And now, as we mentioned, Colton Cole, the 7-footer, great free throw shooter so far this season.
I imagine he's a little frustrated, though, that he did not only get 1 free throw right there, because he had a look inside, he just couldn't finish. And I wonder if Joe Golding is a little disappointed in that, too, because you don't want your big fella to be missing anything in the paint. And, yeah, you could tell he was frustrated that that was only a 1-point trip.
And we saw a lot of missed easy shots from the Wildcats in the first half, hoping to fix that around here after the break.
I mean, it was 57% shooting, and it could have been
well higher.
70%. Walter to Davis, and he got the rim. The ball didn't go in. Ricks wide open.
And those are the kind of shots that Abilene Christian is going to have to rely on when it gets into conference play from Ricks. Big shot there.
What do we have? More blood, and that's Maxwell Walter who has to take a seat. I mean, you can't get any more open than that, can you?
And those are the shots he's going to have to hit. He missed a couple of those in the first half, some wide open threes. But a good answer here in the second half.
It's 5 new Wildcats for ECU. They do that in hockey a lot. Hockey line change there.
You want everybody to have double-digit points, or double-digit minutes, I should say, in this one, as big of a lead as it is.
And I don't think you want anybody to have more than 20, probably.
For sure.
That's Vincent Escamilla getting into the scoring column for the Crusaders. Trey Lennox, long 2. It's a long 2 in the corner. They may check on that as well. You never know. Sometimes they go to those replays to make sure that they get that number right. Is this a defensive foul? And it is on Hayden Howell. Dallas Christian basketball on the other side. All ACU. .319 ACU. Early moments, second half on this Saturday night. Busy day in sports around the family of networks. The day got started on ABC in that Big 12 championship game. Oklahoma beating Baylor in overtime over in Arlington, Texas at AT&T Stadium. Makai Morris, corner 3.
And he's running with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder so far today. Another shot there for Morris. He's got 8 points, 2 triples so far today.
Howell guarding at the elbow, and Varner didn't have a whole lot of space. Now Davis trying to create. He's done that a lot tonight. Moses Compton, a quiet game. Just 3 points, 1 of 2 from distance. Davis, another shot attempt. It's his 11th of the game. He's 4 of 11 from the floor. Maxwell Walter returns to the lineup after having blood earlier in the game. Davis thought maybe he was going to get fouled, but missed everything except the backboard. Cross-court pass. How did he get that positioning? That was well done by the redshirt senior, and 1.
And a great pass inside to set up the end 1 and a better finish. And the lead grows even more.
He caught that at a very odd spot. He was very under the hoop. He was too far under the hoop. He's able to gather himself. He's got those long legs, though, to come back to get himself in right spot, standing at 6'7". Misses the N1. The season high in points for ACU, 90. They've done it twice. They are 22 away. But we got a long way to go in the second half. Howell again, he lost it. He may have traveled. He did.
And that's a great dish inside from Gaiman to Howell, but that's just one you've got to grab because that's an easy 2 points for you.
Yeah, that feels like that's been kind of his kryptonite a little bit this year, is when he catches it, it feels like the ball gets batted around a lot, and then he loses the handle and has to recreate something. And it's been a challenge so far.
And a lot of that's just mental awareness right there, and that's something he's going to have to grow with as the season continues.
Booker lost it, strip, steal, Gaiman. Look out. Escamilla regathers. And Varner, that almost turned into another steal dunk. Varner fade away, Kobe Bryant style. I like to drop the older names when I can. We've talked about Shaq and Kobe. Clay Gaiman, 5 in a row.
And I hate to make matters worse with Dallas Christian, but it looks like they may now be down to just 6 players for the rest of this one. It looks like we have a Crusader in a sling.
Oof.
On the bench.
It's John Neighbors over there. Let's go back to the steal and the hammer.
Just great defense leading to the offense. That's what head coach Joe Golding has talked about and emphasized over the past week. And the big slam from the big man.
They'll kick it out for 3. And Walter, not so much. Saved by Compton. And Reggie Miller. Gaiman, and 1 with a flush.
And he's taken over this one now, 7 of 8 shooting, and another one. And this time with contact.
Send it in, big fella. Whew.
Once he's in the air, all you can do is get out of the way.
Clay Gaiman is on an 8-0 run.
And that's what we were talking about. We were wondering, okay, who's going to step up coming off the bench for this Wildcat team with so much time and such a big lead? Gaiman has responded.
16 points for the sophomore. It's a game high. Foul defensively. It might be on Tobias Cameron. It's on the Aussie. Gold Coast, Australia native. Saw that feature at halftime. Great job by our ACU TV student-run crew. Hutton Harris leading the gang. Corner 3. Does it go in? Oh my goodness, how did that not bounce in?
It seemed like it had the shooter's touch on it, but nothing going right for the Crusaders right now.
It bounced about 14 times. I may have overcounted. Corian Mason offline. Hayden Howell, does he have a chance? To Mason. They are having some fun, aren't they, at home?
And the pass was even better than the score. Hayden Howell splitting defenders for the 2 points.
Compton launching, and that may be what we see from Dallas Christian the rest of the way. They're only playing with 6 guys. Mason, too hot to handle. That takes us to a break. ACU has 78 points. They're having a blast at Moody Coliseum. Wildcats are having fun. 77-21, Abilene Christian on top. Zach Carlisle, Owen Simpson, glad to have you with us tonight on ESPN for some college basketball. The NCAA Division I ACU Wildcats and the NCCAA Dallas Christian Crusaders. So instead of it being 78-21, it's 77-21 because of Mekhi Morris's long 2. They originally called it a 3. Instead, it's a 2 for number 12. We've had a few of those scoring questions in tonight's game. Loose ball, Varner rolled around, got it out. Compton shooting 2.
A good job there by Daniels to get in front of the Crusader, but falling down before any of the contact. And that's going to be 2 shots.
Moses Compton, a freshman out of Houston, Dallas Christian. 3 points tonight on 1 of 4 from the field. And all of them 3-point attempts. First time to the foul stripe, and he hits the first. Two of 2 on the trip for Compton, who's got 5 points in the game. Cameron goes inside. This is Arion Simmons.
And that's what Abilene Christian's been doing on offense, really not going to one specific player. They've been spreading it out. Almost every Wildcat so far has put points up in the points figure.
De'Aaron Davis thrown it to the sideline. So if you look at ACU shooting tonight, it's 34 out of 54, which is 63%, 6 of 16 from distance. Simmons, offensive rebound, and he's fouled in the process. Dallas Christian shooting 24% and just 1 of 9 from the 3-point line.
And something else we haven't really talked about too much, when a team is shooting as well as the Wildcats have been so far, it's hard to win that rebound battle, but they've done so. Averaging now up to 33 after that rebound from Simmons. 33 rebounds so far in this one. Dallas Christian at 20.
Arion Simmons had an eventful free throw go in. It was like watching someone do hopscotch, but it went in. And
another one.
He did it again.
And that's just been the story of the day. We saw it with Dallas Christian earlier of multiple bounces on the rim. Same thing with the Wildcats, but it's just fallen.
High off window to your point partner. Davis couldn't get the roll. Corian Mason, Clay Gaiman. Well, he had that one lined up. Shot clock resets to 20. Tobias Cameron. Corner. Look at all the passing. It's good ball movement. Simmons. That one's offline, and it turns into an offensive rebound. Simmons, was he blocked or fouled? He's fouled by Davis.
And that's just one of those possessions that you can sum up for a whole game. The shots may not fall for Abilene Christian, but they continue to get those rebounds and beautiful ball movement, by the way.
Simmons, an all-conference player at Parkview Magnet High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. He's going to come into his own. He already is a 6'5", 264-pound freshman who is really going to develop nicely under Coach Joe Golding and his staff. missing a couple of free throws. But you're going to see some significant growth for a player who is going to be very, very good at ACU.
He's not a typical forward, as you mentioned. 6'5", a little small, but he makes up for it with his size, not over on his height. He's done a good job defensively.
He's going to be tough to move in the paint. And that three offline from Compton. Simmons, look at him run the floor. Oh, my.
And as we mentioned, with his size on defense, he's also surprisingly quick on the fast break right there.
Feet. Really quick feet. Take a look.
Whew. Beautiful layup there, avoiding the block. And he has been all ears defense and offense.
That looked like you at the YMCA on a weeknight.
Oh, we don't need to talk about that on that. Not quite. Not quite. I try what he does.
Yeah.
It doesn't reflect as much on the camera.
I'm more of just a jump shot type of person. Those don't tend to go in much either. That's okay though. Tapped around and Davis gets the popcorn basketball. 10 to shoot. Worked really hard for that basket, but he got it to go, the junior out of Louisiana.
And again, he's been the bright spot for Dallas Christian in this one now. 12 points out of the team's 25. Well done.
Morris, he had a three taken away from him earlier and misses that time. Varner kicks, Booker, no good. Howell, one-on-one. Paul Hippler, no good. ACU taps it out. Off we go to a timeout. 7:41 to go. They are singing along at Moody Coliseum. You gotta love Mariah Carey's Christmas music. I mean, come on, classics.
It's that time of the year once more.
All I Want for Christmas Is You. I mean, they were singing along to it in the arena. They're having fun tonight at Moody Coliseum. Tough take, Davis inside once more. De'Aaron Davis, best player on the floor tonight for the Crusaders.
Yeah, that's 14 points now, 6 of 15 shooting. The bright spot for the Crusaders.
Here's Howell one-on-one. He gave up a pass last time when he had it in the paint. Now Gaiman. Missed everything.
A rare shot there from Gammon. He's been so efficient shooting, 7 for 9 with 16 points. An awkward miss there.
Abilene Christian, one of its last 7 from the floor. Yeah, it was a straight up air ball.
Not sure if it wasn't a pass, that's for sure.
Maybe that's what he'll tell people.
Yeah, that.
Davis at the line. Head coach Dalton Miller was an assistant coach at Presentation College in Aberdeen, South Dakota, before taking the assistant job in Manhattan Christian College, now in his first year with Dallas Christian. Well, we saw an airball jump shot. That's an airball free throw from Davis.
And that's something that this Dallas Christian team really has struggled with, is shooting at the free throw line. Davis is a 62% free throw shooter coming into this game. As a team, they've also struggled shooting from the charity stripe at just 64%.
Gaiman once more. Mason cutting.
And there's that vertical we were talking about earlier in the first half. A big move there for Mason, a big score.
Donovan Booker runs the point. Davis was calling for the ball. He didn't get it. Now he's got it. And we have a reach-in foul. So there's no question that Abilene Christian will be moving to 4-5 at the end of this game. They're going to have a game against Howard Payne coming up, and that will be next Thursday. And then they go to New Orleans, and a conference schedule opens up with Nichols coming to town. So they're going to have this, more than likely, if they take care of business against Howard Payne, a 3-game winning streak going into conference play. That's a good confidence booster for the team.
And that's always what you want, because especially in the Southland Conference, the only thing that matters is the conference play when it comes down to the end of the day, because the winner of that conference tournament is the only team that makes it into the NCAA tournament. Abilene Christian did it last year. They're looking to repeat in this season.
And I just wonder how big that Southeast Missouri win was Thursday. It gave them a Division I victory. I think they feel so much better about where they're at now after winning that game Thursday night.
Again, a big confidence booster. They were on a 2-game losing streak and struggled to win those close games. A big win for them.
Hippler into Howell. Well done. He adjusted to gather it. Davis, loose ball, tapped around. It's a pinball. Cameron, Hippler. He's shooting free throws.
A good pass there by Cameron on the fast break. It's what they've wanted to see throughout this game. We take a look back one more time. The pass from Hippler inside sets it up beautifully for the layup.
What you didn't see there, though, was his feet were all out of sorts gathering that basketball. He did a great job to just adjust and then finish at the hoop. Here's Paul Hippler getting in the scoring column. Hits a pair. Camarillo, California native. Scored 9 points earlier this season, and that was a career high. Ball's tapped out off of the Crusaders and Maxwell Walter. They've got these boards at the end on each side of the arena. And they've got the promo talking about, there's Hayden Howell with an and one. Talking about the 2020 Southland Conference Tournament. It's crazy to think about that because that's coming up in early March. But if you have not been and you can get to Katy, Texas somehow in March, it is a really fun experience. Southland Conference basketball, men's and women's tournament, both there in Katy, Texas, and it really is a blast. Howell short, gets it. It'll stay with ACU. The Leonard E. Merrill Center in Katy, Texas. Again, we haven't even started conference play. It's forever away, but it'll be here before we know it.
And again, just emphasizing the level of importance in those conference tournaments.
Oh,
the
it's
winner,
crazy. Yeah.
that is the championship for them.
Howell, oh, it got tapped back in. I think it's Cameron. Tobias Cameron got it. Hey, you talk about him at halftime, he's gonna get the ball on the hoop. Sure enough. Corner three, my goodness, how could it not go for Maxwell Walter? Cameron, his tap back.
And with that score for Cameron, now every Wildcat in a jersey tonight has scored, and that's exactly what they want to do. They wanted to spread out the ball on offense, and a great job from this Wildcats team.
93 is a new season high for Abilene Christian. Daniels tried to get crazy there. This is a loose ball, and it's going to go to Dallas Christian. Look at bodies flying all over the floor, and Crusaders slow to get up. That's Varner.
And that's the kind of effort you want to see from your players, especially if you're head coach Joe Golding. Despite the score being the way it is, to see that extra effort, not just from one of your players, but from multiple.
As long as no one gets hurt.
For sure.
Because, I mean, yeah, you want to see that all the time. All the time. No, most important thing right now, though, is that just everyone gets out of this game healthy. Compton tried to go inside, and Clay Gaiman won the battle. Cameron transition to Gaiman.
And more of the same, more fast break scores, beautiful passing offensively to set up the big slam.
His third flush of the night, and a travel in the corner on Walter. Clay Gaiman, 18 points. Daniels, Gaiman. He's had some really good looks from distance and hasn't been able to get him to go. And this will be Wildcat basketball on the other side. What a night. Gaiman doing his thing. It's an 18-point night for Clay Gaiman of ACU. The Wildcats have 95 of them tonight. There he is, the sophomore. 3 dunks.
I think that just might be the end of his night.
Yeah, you would think.
18 points just coming out and making the big answer that they needed on offense.
Was tapped around by Paul Hippler, and the steal for Hayden Howell as well. So now the question is, do they get to 100?
You'd hope so.
They're 5 points away. 10 to shoot, Trey Lennox. Dallas Christian has had no chances to run tonight, as we really expected. The strength of the Wildcats is their defense. There's no question about that. 25th turnover of the night for the Crusaders.
That's what we were looking to see. Is we knew what was going to happen defensively. We wanted to see, okay, how is Dallas Christian going to respond on their side of the floor on defense? Because they've given up a lot of points.
A ton.
Especially one we talked about, the second game of the season, giving up over 150 points. And a game is just so unreal to think of.
Arion Simmons, and that has been ACU's kryptonite, is at the hoop all season. Simmons. Loose ball and another offensive rebound, and that is, it resets to 20. Hippler, he hesitated just a little too long. Davis, is he fouled? Yes, he is. Yeah, it's on Hippler. I thought it was Hippler, but I wasn't sure if maybe they got Howell. But instead it is on Paul Hippler, and this is De'Aaron Davis at the line. Donovan Booker checks in.
And not allowed to hold trips to the line for Dallas Christian so far. That's just their 10th free throw attempt so far in this one.
Here's the 11th. Abilene Christian's been there 16 times. 2:20 left on this first Saturday in December. 18 days from Christmas. Cameron, corner three.
And it seems like what we've seen all evening so far is one player starts to get hot, and once they finish up, it's another Wildcat responding. Cameron with a big three there for him.
He's matched his career high with 5. Lennox, Hippler for the Corn Dogs, no good.
I thought we were going to get another friendly roll for the Wildcats. Nothing there for the Hollywood native.
That three offline from Escamilla. I mean, trying to quote movies at this point. Here's Lennox. There it is. No, it's offline.
We just may not get to 100. I spoke too soon.
Semi-Pro is one of my favorite movies of all time. Arion Simmons, defensive foul.
And
Davis.
And Dallas Christian actually has played a lot of Southland Conference teams over the years. Yep. Last year, they played Houston Baptist, and they've done a little bit better defensively this time around. Last time they lost Houston Baptist 143-92. So Dallas Christian has struggled defensively, not just for this season, but last season as well.
I mean, but scoring 92 on a Southland Conference team, what an accomplishment.
For sure. And that's
143.
And that just shows that, you know, while they have struggled on offense, or struggled on defense, I should say, offense has been a bright spot for them, but not so far tonight.
63 seconds left. I mean, you know 100's on their minds, right? I mean, it's got to be.
They can't
not that
publicly say
not that matters, but Cameron sets a new career high and gives the place their Corn Dogs Jackie moment. And a foul on Simmons. That's his third.
They couldn't publicly say they wanted to get 100. They just more focused on the win. That's the correct answer.
Yeah, that'll be what they tell us at the end of the game.
But they're inside. They wanted 100 points. And that's just been the story so far. They're getting a big win tonight for Abilene Christian, but they've missed so many layups. And a lot more points could have been on the scoreboard at the end of the day tonight.
Tobias Cameron with his putback. They haven't put the 100, well, did they? It's interesting. In the in-arena score, it says 98, but we've got it on our scoreboard at the bottom of your screen, so really have no idea what's happening. But on one of the scores, it does say 100 in the arena. It's very strange. Lennox to Howell. He turns and scores again. Hayden Howell has a double-digit effort tonight. He's got 14. Maxwell Walter, corner three.
And you know he wanted to get that one down. 0 for 6 before that triple.
No shot clock, and if Dallas Christian doesn't foul, which, I mean, you wouldn't think they would, that should do it tonight. It went the way we thought it would. (102-34), all Wildcats from the beginning. For Owen Simpson and our entire crew, the gang headed by Hutton Harris, I'm Zach Carlisle, saying so long from Abilene, Texas. Once again, the final score, Abilene Christian 102, Dallas Christian 34. It's been a presentation of college basketball on ESPN. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. Until next time, so long, take care. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Ed.